Welcome to the showdown. Only 3 more days to go. Day 28 of 30 Inks 30 days. And I'm so excited. I can hardly contain myself. You can't hear this in my voice because it's the same all the time. September 2023. Did I say that? Day 28. Let's pull one of the two papers that are left. I'm on a roll today, because I'm really excited to finish this whole series and edit all the videos and share them with you. What is this ink? Colossal Squid Dark. So this is an ink that I am not 100% sure about. Not because I think there's not a lot of ink left, and it's very thick. It looks very black right now. It's supposed to be a teal. Let's see. I don't know what pen I want to put this in. I feel like I don't want to use any of my... Maybe I'm just going to TWSBIs are great writers, but maybe I'm going to use a TWSBI. So what do I have here? I think you can't see. You can see clearly the rain has... Let's put this... I thought this was supposed to be a teal. I have a different Anderillium ink in my 30 Inks 30 days, and I did not have the best experience. And I contacted Anderillium about the color, and they said that it was a problem with the material they used. They changed suppliers. Yeah, it's supposed to be this dark teal. This looks black, but it's okay. So I used this indigo bunting blue, and in my swatch it looked like this. So I contacted them. They were super responsive and said that they had a problem with the material that they used from their first supplier, and it didn't hold up to their quality standards, obviously. And so they are aware. They have changed the formula and supplies. And if you experience a problem with your inks, mine was in an ink flight box from January 2023. So maybe if you purchased around that time or in the fall of 2022 and your inks are not how they were supposed to be, don't hesitate to reach out to Anderillium so they can make it right. It was not their fault. Well, you know how I'm really curious about how that works when you make ink. Like, how do you know that your ink is still the same in a year? How do you know it's not... I mean, if archival is probably hard, but how do you know that if light how badly... Oh, this is going to be done soon. How badly is light affecting your... This is an extra fine nib. I'm going to use that. How badly is the light affecting the writing, the ink? Is it completely, like, basically fading away? And how long does it take? All of those things, I don't know how ink manufacturers make sure. They would need like a really long headway in producing their inks. So I'm really curious if you know how that works and how long they start before they actually sell their stuff. Oh, I did not clean this brush well from the last time that I used it, but now it's clean. I usually dip my brush in water, but then okay. Let me open this one more time. This is supposedly the same kind of paper, so it should not be different. Well, it's pretty similar. So I don't think there is an issue here with this ink, but I wasn't sure when I first put it in. I usually dip my brush in water, but then I'm glad I chose it TWSBI. Let's put it this way. But then I dip it, I dry it off on my rag again so that it's basically damp, which means the bristles don't soak themselves that full of water. And I don't feel like that is affecting how the ink goes down on paper. If you have a really, really dripping wet brush, then yes, it does. It will, and it will also dilute your ink. But just the regular, like, you can try that out if you want to know what I mean. I have this right next to me when I'm playing with inks, and so I'm just using this to brush off and dry off the brush, but it's not 100% dry. It's damp. So it's really windy today. I don't need this anymore. I think I'm going to fill this in right away. Okay, my son is walking by the window right now, so he should be here in a second. I'm wondering that because I chose an extra fine nib, if I actually will be able to see this color, or if it's just going to appear as black, which is totally fine. I mean, I really like colors, or blacks actually, where it isn't really black. It's almost black. It appears as black, and I use it as a black ink, but actually I know, and now you know, that it's not black, that it is really dark teal. That's something that I really enjoy, and if I were in an office setting, working in an office setting where I was able to use my fountain pens, then I would totally use all of these kinds of inks in my everyday work life, because that sounds kind of fun. It would totally geek me out. I would totally geek out over the fact that I know that it's not black, but everybody else thinks it is. I know, it's weird. Aren't fountain pen people just the weirdest people? Okay, so filling the pen is going to be really difficult. Did I clean this? Nope, I didn't. See, that's what I meant. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, totally forgot to turn on the camera. I filled the ink with the ink miser. And I'm done. And I like this color a lot. So the color is, okay, why is this not writing? And I just filled this through the thing. Colossal. Oh, what is happening here? I hate this. I hate this. Let's try this again. I don't like how this writes, so I'm not sure. I just recently switched out the barrels for these pens, but it looks like I put everything in okay. The nib is all the way in. The nib is seated right on the feed. The nib was wet. TWSBI Eco The barrel is an Eco Tea barrel, but the original color is the lilac. Eco lilac with an extra fine nib. That's so weird. It used to be really wet, but now it's not. So I am going to transcribe. Probably have the worst time of my life with this. And then I'll be back and tell you all about it. See you then. What can I say? This was not the experience I had expected. I realized that I didn't really use any extra fine nibs in this whole transcription project until day 28. This is the first one. I have used a medium fine, which is really fine if you compare this to this. I mean, this is wider, but not by much. I have used the fine Pilot Kakuno, but that's about it. And if you look at the way this writes and this writes, this is definitely much better. It even looks better. You can see I didn't have a good time when transcribing over here. So I'm going to read what I wrote. Well, okay. I don't think this ink was what I expected. I was hoping for a dark, saturated, almost black ink that flowed wet, but in a thin line out of the pen. That's what I experienced when I used the Pilot Kakuno with a fine nib and the Diamine Inkvent Ruby Blues. This is not what happened here. I did floss the tines just before I started transcribing because it felt really weird. So I tried it on a different paper. It was super dry. So I flossed the tines. It was better then, right over here. It seems to work better here on 52 GSM Tomoe River paper because this is more what I was hoping for than this. But on the 68 TRP, it was a dry and scratchy mess. Well, actually, it wasn't scratchy. It just felt like the ink didn't come out of the pen properly. And I used some brass shims to get the nib to be more flowy. I might have succeeded because at least on here, it feels okay. Not convinced, sadly. And you know what I noticed? This ink looks similar. Not the same, but very similar. Now that I look at them on here, on the numbers, they look similar. Nah. But this is not as exciting as this one. This has something to it that this just doesn't reach. And so because of this whole experience, I'm not really interested in continuing researching, trying this ink in other pens. I don't have a lot left. It's less than 1 milliliter, so it doesn't even make sense to keep it, and I won't. But yeah, that was an interesting experience for sure. It wasn't really the best. I hope I'm closing out this 30 inks 30 days with a better feeling. So I think KWC Honey is the one that doesn't have a paper snippet thingy. So the 29 might be a bit interesting depending on what pen I put it in. But then the KWZ Honey should be okay. Definitely flowing well, depending on the color. I don't know. But yeah, that left a bad aftertaste. It wasn't enjoyable at all. And I'm going to move on. I would love to hear if you have had any Anderillium inks experiences. I don't think that was a problem that was based on Anderillium. The writing, the color, that just didn't work with my expectations. But yeah, I would love to hear your experiences. How is the ink working for you? How do you enjoy them? How deep are they? Do you love them? Let me know in the comments below. I will see you tomorrow for day 29. Can't wait. Bye.